It's the Uffsides podcast. We're talking Week 15 in the NFL. I'm Matt Ufford. With me in the SB Nation studio in Manhattan, New York, is Lindsay McCormick. Lindsay is a weekly columnist for Esquire. She writes something called Monday Morning Cheerleader. Previously did NFL draft coverage with CBS Sports. And Lindsay, welcome. It's wonderful to see you.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
We can do the entire show with music, or we can cut it out at some time. I love it. I love it.
I do too. Well, I'm from Texas originally, so I kind of hear the Texas twang in the background of that song.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of brings me back to my roots.
Now, thank you so much for showing up this week. We were in danger of not having a show, and you saved us.
Save the day, Superwoman.
Let's get one thing out of the way. That when I Google you, when anyone Googles you,
Yes.
on the first page of results, there are scandalous rumors about you having been a girlfriend of Mark Sanchez.
Scandalous.
Yeah.
Scandalous.
True? False?
He's been a friend and will always be a friend, just a friend, and that's what I said years ago. So I guess
Years ago, 2010, by the way.
Yeah.
This is all
years
the past.
ago.
This was when you were rumored to be with him when he was noted as a possibly good quarterback. So it was a very long time ago. You're not going to say anything to that, are you?
I'm quiet right now.
All right. Well, let's get into it. The topic of someone in the media dating an athlete is in the news right now because Sam Steele and Christian Ponder just got married this week. What are your thoughts? That was news to you when you stepped in here, by the way. What are your thoughts on that?
I knew they were engaged. They've been engaged for a little bit longer than people knew, but I can't believe they're already married. They just started dating at the beginning of football season. I mean, I guess when you know, you know. And I mean, they seem like they have a lot of common interests.
It does seem to be a hasty romance. One of the funnier jokes, and this is strictly a joke. I'm not commenting on or speculating at all. But Barry Petchesky of Deadspin said that pregnant, or was the rush for she wanted to say that she was married to a starting NFL quarterback. The joke being that he's not for long in the starting quarterback position.
I agree with that statement, but I mean, knowing both of them, they both are extremely religious.
Yes.
So it's like saying Tim Tebow would get married because his girlfriend was pregnant.
I'm with the same boat with you. Like, I'm not speculating about that at all. I think that they have traditional Christian values that they're trying to uphold.
I don't think it's going to be a 72-day thing, though.
No,
like
thank God.
Kim Kardashian.
What is? Would you ever date an athlete? And if so, what about getting married in the football season? They got married on his off day.
I mean, I don't know all the details of their wedding, but I imagine it had like barbecue ribs and was really laid back. I mean, you probably know more than I do about.
I actually don't know anything, but it sure is fun to speculate. And then they had a mariachi band. Can you believe that?
That's pretty awesome. I feel like if I'm gonna do a shotgun wedding like this, I want Chuck Norris being the person who is telling us.
Absolutely.
Our vows.
No,
Why not?
He would be a fantastic officiant. My officiant, do you remember the Arby's guy, the It's Good Mood Food Arby's? He was my officiant for my wedding.
No, he was not.
I am dead serious. He was my college roommate freshman and sophomore year. He's an actor working in New York, been my best friend. His now wife introduced me to my now wife, and yeah.
Well, now I have to change mine because I have to one-up yours.
Okay.
I
think Chuck Norris is a one-up.
Yeah, Bo Jackson. One more up.
Yeah, he can take some time off as long as it's not hunting season. He will.
Bow and arrow.
He'll do it. So let's get into it. Every week we do start things off with worst of the worst, where we talk about some terrible, shameful aspect of the NFL. And this week 15, the Chiefs, the worst team in the NFL, got shut out by the Raiders, a very bad team in the NFL. However, the Monday night game between the Jets and the Titans wins out. -5 turnover differential for the Jets. 4 of those turnovers in the second half. 3 of them on their last 3 possessions when they could have won the game. And let's not forget the gift of the shanked punt in under a minute and followed by an instant fumble by
snap.
Mark Sanchez. I want to read this little piece that Will Leach, former guest of Uffsides and writer for this was a New York magazine. He called it an explosion of ridiculousness, a final masterpiece, a rousing concerto of ineptitude, a cacophony of turnovers. They basically slammed their hand in a car door repeatedly for the entire country to see.
I feel like they slammed their hand in the car door when they brought in Tim Tebow to begin with.
Yeah, they were. That was only a PR move to start with.
And now it's pretty evident that Rex and Tannenbaum weren't really on board with it. It looks like it was solely Woody's kind of thing.
Upper management, yeah. That was and not a good idea, as we've seen. As Rex Ryan, and I think, man, that's a guy who's going to lose his job regardless. But I think that I wouldn't say he's made lemonade out of the lemons he was given, but he did better than expected. Lost Darrelle Revis for the entire season.
Right.
Had the worst wide receivers and one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, and had people asking when's Tim Tebow going to start. And Rex, to his credit, stuck to his guns and recognized that Tebow wasn't the answer.
Well, here's the thing, and this is a saying that my dad always says. I come from a huge sports family, and my dad always says the most popular guy on the team is always going to be the backup quarterback until you give him enough series to show everybody why he's the backup quarterback. So, sure enough, I guess this week we're going to find out why Greg McElroy is the backup quarterback.
Yeah, and that's the thing is he had that enthralling 7-6 win over the Cardinals, in which he averaged something like 4.2 yards per attempt. So we're not going to see a magical offensive explosion, I don't think, but at least we can expect maybe better than 5 turnovers.
Well, it's the Chargers too.
It is the Chargers. It might just be 60 minutes of Phillip Rivers and Greg McElroy turning the ball over to each other.
I'd watch it.
Me too. Me too. Let me ask you a question. Are you still in touch with Mark Sanchez? Did you text him after the game and be like, "Whoa, buddy"?
I'm friends with a lot of the guys in the league.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you didn't actually answer that question. Did you text Mark and be like, "Whoa, buddy"?
I mean, I didn't say "whoa, buddy."
What'd you say? It doesn't have to be precise. You don't have to dig out your phone and say the exact words.
Well, first of all, I did not text him after that game. I don't think anybody wants to talk to anyone after that game, and just knowing how much heart he has in the game and how hard he tries and how hard he works and studies every week. It's disappointing for anybody, and I'm sure especially someone who really truly has a passion for the game. It's even tougher than someone who's just solely playing for money.
True. Although at this point, Mark Sanchez might just be playing for money.
I know for a fact that's not true.
Okay. Well, at least he's a better friend than a quarterback. Let's move on. That was well timed while you were drinking water. Let's flip things around. Let's talk to the best teams in the NFL.
Okay.
Tell me your Super Bowl picks. Well, first of all, Preseason. What were your preseason Super Bowl picks?
I told my brother this. I don't know why he wasn't reading my column to begin with, not supporting the family, but my preseason pick was Texans-Packers. And my brother said, ooh, I would stick with that one. That one's good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick with it. Patriots are scary in terms of AFC teams, and so are the Broncos, but I like the Texans.
My preseason was Packers Broncos, so I'm feeling confident about that. Not actually, I don't really love my Packers pick. I think that the Niners are the best team in the NFC, which is super annoying as a Seahawks fan because the Seahawks I feel would be winning basically any other division in the NFL, right? Well, maybe not the NFC North. But yeah, I think I'm kind of bummed that they're going to be a wild card team when I want them to have a home game.
Well, the only reason I picked the Texans over your Broncos is just because the Texans have so many more weapons. The Broncos, it's the Peyton show.
It is the Peyton show. No Sean Marino. He's played well in filling in for Willis McGahee, but anyone who's had no Sean Marino on a fantasy team for any length of time knows there's only so long that you're going to get decent production out of him. Right. But yeah, I like Peyton in the playoffs. Defense is not quite what it was last year when they were winning, sending Tim Tebow to the playoffs, but still a very good defense. Fantastic against the run, as are the Texans are pretty good against the run, but overall an excellent defense.
Texans' biggest issue is their secondary. So,
yeah.
And that's kind of been the blueprint for all the two teams that have have kind of destroyed the
They've
Texans.
looked awful in prime time against very good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I think in general the AFC for as good as the Patriots, the Texans, the Broncos have looked kicking the crap out of lesser teams.
Yeah.
I think where the champion's going to be coming out of the NFC. I think it's just a stronger conference.
Well, for sure. And the wild card chase is a little bit.
Oh, much more exciting. Much more exciting. You've got, I think, how many of the teams in the NFC are sitting at 8 and 6?
Still 3 tied in terms of NFC East.
Yeah, we got the Cowboys, Eagles, and Giants.
No, not Eagles.
Oh, right, then not the Eagles.
Wait, let me tell you this. All my friends always tell me this because this kind of feels like a date, even though you're married, so it doesn't.
I am.
But they always tell me this. They're always like, Lindsay, when you're on a date, do not correct someone.
Oh, please, no. Correct him.
If they're, I said it. I feel like it's my job to provide a service for men across America.
No, again, if you're on a date with someone and you can't handle a woman correcting you, like that guy's not worth being with. Like that's preposterous. Like anyone whose confidence is so shallow and
Well, all my Eagles friends would appreciate you saying that.
Oh, what the Eagles would appreciate is that team not having Andy Reid as a coach, which will finally happen this offseason, I think. Let's talk about you personally. There's of the people who do watch or listen to this podcast, I feel like a lot of them aspire to careers in sports media. You're an ascendant writer and on-screen talent. So tell me about your career progression. Start with college and what you've done since then.
Okay, at college, I was the sideline reporter for the Auburn University football team.
Ooh,
and
War Damn Tide.
Whoa, no, War Damn Eagle. Even though we really didn't have a football team this season, so college football wasn't as exciting for me.
You'll always have Cam Newton for 1 year.
And Bo Jackson.
Yes.
And Jason Campbell. And Ronnie Brown.
Well,
and I could go on. Some Derek Marks.
I would consider stopping at Bo Jackson.
Anybody would.
Yes. Anyway, please continue.
So I did sideline reporting for the Auburn football team. ESPN Game Day was there during the Auburn LSU game. They saw me working. I was on the sideline, started talking with all of their staff and producers, and just made a joke. You guys don't happen to have a job opening, do you? Sure enough, they did. I took the intense sports quiz that they give all the interns. Started out as an intern. My demo reel got passed around ESPN, and then I got called in for green screen testing.
Nice.
And then did college football analysis with them and hosted all their .com shows for a while.
All right, so ESPN.com, and what came next?
Then I wrote for ESPN the magazine.
All right.
Covered NFL and NBA. Then I got the job with the Portland Trailblazers. Moved to Portland, or technically it was with Comcast Sportsnet, covering the Portland Trailblazers. Right. Hosted a 3-hour show Monday through Friday out there. We were simulcast on ESPN Radio, so I'm kind of used to all this environment.
You're a Southern girl. You're from Houston. So how'd you like Portland?
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so different.
It's very different.
It's kind of a mixture of Seattle and LA in terms of weather.
Yes. I mean, it's a little bit more Seattle in terms of weather, but it's you got the weirdos. Like Portlandia is not an inaccurate portrayal, I feel.
No, it reminds me of a cleaner Soho.
Yes, and it's a very, very green city. Everybody bikes everywhere, even in the rain.
Yeah, everyone's vegan. I mean, I'm from Texas. I love steak.
Good,
but it wasn't bad. I loved it.
And then you came back east, of course.
I did. Figured Brandon Roy left. Time for me to leave.
Yeah.
Greg Oden left. So
poor Greg Oden.
I know.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. That was an unintentional moment of silence. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please go ahead.
No, and then I moved back here, started writing for Esquire, and then we have the column Monday Morning Cheerleader, which is a play off of Monday Morning Quarterback.
Of course. And do you play fantasy football?
I'm in 3 leagues.
3 leagues?
Yes. You always have to have 3. That way it doesn't ruin your weekend, because at least one team will do well. Wow. And they kind of switch throughout the season, which one of your teams is doing better than the others.
What's your status? What are your team's status? How many made the playoffs?
1 out of the 3.
Okay.
There's always one that you just stop caring about at some point.
Yep.
One that matters more. One was a league with my brother and his friends, and I get all the mass text messages all day long, every day, talking about everything from Christian Ponder and how they're so sad that Samantha Steele is now off the market to Lindsay, I can't believe I beat you, trash talk.
This team that made the playoffs, who saved you?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady had a great season. Started a little bit slow, but got into the end zone running more than most seasons. Who else? Who were your weak spots?
I had Reggie Bush and Trent Richardson, who started out hot, and then Reggie
was on my team that went 4-10, and he had that huge. He had a bad slump in the middle of the season,
and then they benched him that game.
Yeah,
I was so mad.
Yeah, I lost like 4 games on like just starting the wrong guys in that league. It's just like just kicking myself like every Tuesday morning. What about your bad team? What did your worst team do?
Well, why it was so bad was because I stopped checking the roster and stopped setting the roster each week. It had RG3 though.
Oh, okay.
And then someone wanted to trade for it. I'm like, okay, fine. You help me out and get my brother a gift, and I'll give you RG3 because I don't care about that league. So then you start using it for favors from friends.
Wow.
Oh, the best though.
That's so Machiavellian.
The best is my brother and his friends league, because we have a tight knit family, and my brother would do something or I would do something, and we would confide in each other. And my brother would be like, "That's great, I support you. However, I will not tell Mom if you trade me Brandon Marshall." I'm like, okay.
That's straight up collusion. That's man. I feel like that's problematic when you get people who have those relations. And I don't want to say it's because women join leagues, but I feel like that and I'm in a couple leagues with.
Is your wife in the league?
She is not.
Okay.
She is not. And again, I feel like there's an inherent conflict of interest because there's always going to be leverage that things will not be strictly business, and it's a little problematic, I think.
Like, I'll do the dishes tonight if you help me out for this week.
Yeah, and like I know people too that just will like, oh, I told my wife, like she asked me my advice, and I said to start this guy, and then like someone on the bench blows up, and the guy that started, and then it's his fault because he gave her that advice. It's man, it's tough.
I love fantasy.
Me too.
I love the league too.
That's a great show. It's a great show. Great cast, really good writing, and it's a great concept. It's about time that people. It thrusts fantasy football into the mainstream and kind of wipes out the nerdy aspects of it.
It's not nerdy at all.
No, it's not. Look at these amazing people that play fantasy football. It can't be nerdy. That's only for the audio or for the video feed. People getting the audio, you're missing out. Now, you were telling me earlier that you almost did a reality television show. And I used to, for 2.5 or 3 years, I blogged about television. And like my big thing, I was a big proponent of excellent scripted television. And I watched almost no reality TV whatsoever.
I never watched reality. I just wanted a challenge, and one of my best girlfriends wanted a challenge as well. So we signed up for The Amazing Race.
Not like a marathon. That's a challenge.
No, The Amazing Race, because we wanted to skydive. We wanted to do it all. I wanted to feel like a badass. I wanted to feel like Peyton Manning.
But you can do that without going on TV.
Yeah, but it's not the same as when you know, like if I'm going up to skydive and I don't have cameras on me, I'm probably gonna wimp out.
Okay.
But if I have cameras on me, I can't.
Yeah, because you know that millions of people are going to see it, and you don't want to be a wuss in front of them.
No, not at all.
So it was The Amazing Race, yes?
Yes.
All right, I didn't know if we said that or not. So what happened? Why didn't you follow through?
We trained for it. We were working out twice a day. I felt like I was in the NFL. And I even had a pinched nerve from training. I felt like Peyton Manning.
Wow.
And we got to the top 20, and we weren't controversial enough. Apparently, they didn't read the scandalous things online.
Oh, man. So you just like got. I always wonder about that because when I would still watch The Real World, and this the last time I watched was something like late 90s, and I just be like I would just rather. It's so annoying to see these people like just get drunk and fight. Like I just be normal.
Just get along.
Just do the dishes. Like it's not that hard. And
a lot of people don't like to watch that though.
Oh, I know, and that's why I don't like reality television.
And the editing's scary because you never know how they could portray you.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, I think as someone who aspires to more in broadcast, you're better off not doing reality TV.
Yeah. I mean, I was confident though that going into that show of all shows, that my competitive nature and love for sports would shine through. And it would be a fun show and a challenge.
I mean, who's the ESPN college football dude who was The Bachelor with Jesse
Palmer?
Jesse Palmer, and he's fantastic. Like he's great on ESPN, and it's and I guess
I have a good story about that. So when I was at ESPN, every time he would walk down the hallways, everybody would say, "Oh, this isn't actually a great story," but they would all whisper, "Oh, here comes The Bachelor." See, I don't think they would say that about me. I don't think they would be like, "Oh, that's the girl that won Amazing Race," because I would be like, "Yeah, heck yeah, it is."
Now, but by the way, don't take anything away from, like, when you've got an inside scoop from ESPN, go ahead and share it. Don't undercut your story by saying it's not a good story.
Okay.
You don't have to undersell it, because I think it's fine. It's good to know that, like, people at ESPN are calling Jesse Palmer The Bachelor. But I do think that there's something to be proud of in focusing on your work and focusing on sports media, even if it's a crappy podcast, or writing a blog or something that's sports focused, that's built on improving the skills that you need. And reality television, I think that there's always going to be a stigma, even if it's with the old stodgy people, that are going to be like, "Oh, reality television."
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just the old stodgy person. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think every opportunity is what you make of it too.
Yeah, you and your positive attitude. Tell me, are you since you're from Houston, are you a Texans fan?
I grew up an Oilers fan. Everybody loves Warren Moon. My grandpa got drafted by the Redskins, was a star defensive end in college for University of Illinois. And so I guess we kind of follow the Redskins a little bit, but I mean, and now
as a familial thing.
And now everybody's jumped on the RG3 bandwagon, which, how can you not like that guy?
There's no shame in that, and
No.
I hate all of the teams in the NFC East. As just someone who lives on the East Coast and who's not a fan of any one of them, like, you're just surrounded by the fans. Like, you can't throw a stone between, like, here in DC without hitting a Redskins fan, an Eagles fan, and a Giants fan. So
what about the AFC East though? They're pretty proud of their teams.
Well, Bills fans aren't. They even the homers are pretty sad about themselves.
They were at the beginning of the season, right when they got Mario Williams.
They were pretty confident.
Right before they played the Jets in that first game.
Bills fans should know better. They should know better than to have any faith in their team whatsoever. I feel Patriots fans are bad.
Oh, terrible.
I don't see it as much as anybody else. I think that because I've got some friends from college who were Boston fans, but aren't, like, the super typical annoying ones. They're actually smart people first, and, like, also, Sox and Patriots fans. So I don't have that irrational hatred, or even completely rational hatred that a lot of people do. So I'm not as annoyed by Pats fans, but I definitely see it. And I also avoid, like, the message boards where you get the worst of it.
You should avoid those anyways.
Yeah, it's in general a bad place. Well, and as an SEC girl, you definitely know all about the message boards.
Oh, yes. Oh, recruiting, everything. My parents read it every morning.
Really?
Yeah, my dad will call me and say, "Did you hear so-and-so may come to Auburn?" I'm like, "Yeah, Dad, I did."
Is that something that you like? Is it just like regular talk? Because the whole the Paul Feinbaum show.
Yeah. My dad's called in a few of the shows.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
He gets into it.
You're the real deal.
Yeah.
I find that so amazing because as an NFL fan and like a passing college football fan, but I don't get into the signing day stuff, and I don't follow the whole, like, 5-star recruits. I'm like, I just, like, it's skeevy to, like, follow these 16 and 17-year-old boys.
Well, now it's into a big production.
Yeah.
Where they change locations at the last second. Where are they going to announce? And then you have where
them
they
pulling
change
out
the hats.
bulldog puppies.
Yeah.
It's
it's like Lee Corso on game day.
Yes, it is.
High school edition.
I mean, I guess that's good for them. They're looking to make it, make a splash, become a star, make millions in the NFL.
I wonder if the Jets will do that this coming year with their head coach. Because I'm banking on the fact that Rex Ryan goes, Tannenbaum goes. I think they need a clean house in terms of coaching staff.
They need a quarterback, they
have a quarterback. They have 3.
Sean Green? Are you talking like he would be great under center?
See, here's my thing about the Jets. Here's my mentality. They brought in Tebow, mistake number 1.
Yes.
They did not set up Sanchez to succeed. They didn't give him any protection, so that he has 2 seconds to go through his quarterback progression as opposed to 3 or 4 like Peyton has.
He has 2 All-Pros on that offensive line.
He has Nick Mangold, who's great, but
he's fantastic. Really, really wonderful guy too. Like a funny guy too.
But other than Mangold, I wouldn't feel safe behind any of those guys. No run game. I'm not banking on Sean Green.
Sean Green's not exciting. They don't have
and
a
then
great run game.
Who can they throw the ball to?
Worst receiving core in the NFL.
This is the one move I did love that Rex Ryan did. Despite Braylon making those comments, they brought him in. And I thought he didn't play too shabby this weekend.
No, he was definitely still as someone who watches Seahawks games, of course. Yeah. He was definitely still Braylon Edwards. He's still, the drops are still there.
Yeah, but that very first pass.
Yep.
He dropped.
However, it's still an upgrade over everybody else on the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, when diehard Jets fans can't even name who the starting receivers are, then you have a problem.
No. All right, let's close the show with a little thing we call Fumbler. Fumbler is a weekly column I write for SB Nation. Focuses on Photoshops, animated GIFs, and assorted memes. Joe Flacco had himself a bad game. Fumbled the 3rd snap of the game. That led to a field goal. And then a little 14-point swing when 1st and goal at the end of the first half was instead a pick 6 that went 98 yards the other way. So yeah, Joe Flacco giving us the face palm, and I took the time to Photoshop face palming Joe Flacco into various scenarios, such as. There we go. There's with the Hindenburg. And let's see, what else have we got?
That photo doesn't say I'm the best quarterback in the NFL like he claimed at the beginning of the season.
Oh, the humanity. Yeah, that was something that while he was in contract talks, he actually said, I'm not just a top 5 quarterback.
I am the best. I'm the best fantasy player, not top 5.
Yeah, you can have confidence without saying things that are stupid.
Yeah,
like
that crossed the line.
Like I'm a better quarterback than I've given credit for. You can say that. You can't say that you're the best when you're just absolutely not. No. Let's run through a couple of the other Photoshops. There he is reacting to Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Did you see that movie?
A long time ago.
Oh my God, so stupid. And then we've also got. Are there any else? Or is that it? All right, that's it. There's also, if you do go check out Fumbler, and this is the tease we call it. There's another Photoshop that's unseemly.
What is it?
You got to go check it out. We'll tell you what. We'll put the link in the YouTube description for this.
Okay.
You can go check it out. All right, that closes up our show for Week 15. Week 16, I think we're going to be on a little holiday vacation. Lindsay McCormick, an absolute pleasure to have you. Be sure to follow her on Twitter. You are Lindsay M
_sports.
I love it. And be sure to check out her weekly column on Esquire and look for her name, look for her face. She's going to be around.
Thank you. Where would you say that Week 15 ranks? Like, what game would you compare this podcast most to?
Ooh, I think I would give us Sunday Night Football. It started out, didn't look like it wasn't going to be a great game at the start, and then we came charging back and made it a good show.
I like that.
Yeah, we're Patriots Niners. No rain though. All right, enjoy the Week 16 games. Have a very happy holidays. Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2013 to talk the playoffs. All right.